Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting things that are happening right here in our community, and today will be no different. You know, every year communities around the nation celebrate an event called National Night Out. It's a community building project that actually works to bring people together within the community and also to make the community safer. It's a program that encourages partnerships between the community and law enforcement officers. And today to talk about National Night Out 2018 are two individuals who I think know as much about it as anyone does. Rhea Caldwell is the president of the Huntsville Community Watch Group. Welcome back to Impact.
Thank you.
It's good to have you back once again. Johnny Hollingsworth is a CRO, also known as Community Relations Officer with the West Precinct of Huntsville Police Department. Welcome back, Johnny.
Thank you, Kenny.
It's good to have both of you. You know, this is a big event. It takes place every year. As I said, cities around the nation celebrate this. It's an important function of communities to work together and come together around a common goal. Talk a little bit about why National Night Out is such an important event.
Well, as you said, the first thing that we want to do is bring the community together with law enforcement. The other thing is to bring the communities together so that they can get to know one another and see what's out there in terms of safety products, meet different ones from the police department and see what different departments do. They also learn about city departments and the help that they can provide for them for whatever they need for their communities. So you have a good time, but you're also learning too. We have several things for people to do there. There's things for the kids to do, and there's free food. So
that's the
it's a
key
win-win.
Yeah, that's the trigger right there, free food. That
Yes.
got a lot of people's attention just now. But the notion that this is a free event, it's open to the public, it's family friendly, actually adds value to this event. And Johnny, from the law enforcement perspective, I know this is very important to Huntsville Police Department to have these kinds of communications, not reactively, but to really build them on the front end.
Yes, definitely. You know, the great thing about National Night Out, this is the one time that the police department can step up and say thank you to all of our community watch groups. We have close to 180 watch groups with volunteers, 1,000 of hours every year. This is a celebration that we'd like for all the viewers to come out, help us tell them thank you for doing what they do without being paid, helping make our city the greatest city it is in the nation, and just come out and have a great event. You know, she talked about some of the things that we're going to have, but also, between the vendors and all, we're going to have free horse rides for the kids. We're going to have the drunk driving simulation. This is where you get to ride in a go-kart, wearing the beer goggles, and really have a true experience. You know, it's fun, but at the same time, it teaches our new drivers and even old drivers, we got to be careful what we do. And like she said, we're going to have the bomb squad, the SWAT team. We'll have the K-9 back out doing their demonstration, which everybody loves. We'll have Mojo there from WZYP helping us out. We'll have some door prizes. So it's just a great, fun family event that's free to everybody. All we need them to do is just show up and have a great time.
Absolutely, and we're encouraging the whole community to come out and be supportive of this.
Yes.
If you've been a part of it before, come on back. If you've never been a part of it, come on out and discover some of your family members, friends, associates, people you work with in the community. Build those relationships with law enforcement, which is a great thing. I want to ask both of you this. I'm going to start with Rhea. Rhea, when I think about something Johnny just said about how Community Watch plays such a valuable role to communities everywhere, I think about it from the perspective of we all want to live in safe communities.
Right.
And oftentimes we think about that as solely the job of law enforcement officers. Well, obviously, if we thought about it, we would automatically think about it from a numerical perspective that that's not possible because police can't be everywhere at every time for everything. So it really takes community members embracing ownership of their community and being responsible for that. And isn't that the true value of Community Watch, where people actually say, we want to be held accountable for what happens in our community and partner with law enforcement?
Absolutely. The good thing about Community Watch is, an officer can come into a community and not recognize something that's out of place. But if you live there, that person doesn't belong there, or that door is not usually open at this time of day. And so if they are willing and will say something when they see something, that's the biggest part of Community Watch. And like you said, considering the amount of people that there are in Huntsville versus the number of officers that are on the street at any given time, just think if everybody kind of kept an eye on things and just reported it, then the officers know where to go to. They're not just all over the place looking for something when there's just a few of them to do that. So working together, it's a great way to keep Huntsville safe.
Yeah, and the community really is so much safer when we take the perspective of, I am going to be mindful of what's going on. I am going to be sensitive to what I see.
Right.
I am going to perhaps make a call if I am concerned about something, because not making the call might result in some kind of retroactive response where some crime is committed and then the community takes a hit because of that. And Johnny, I know that law enforcement officers have tremendous appreciation, as you said, for what the citizens of the community do through Community Watch. You know, from your perspective as a law enforcement officer, what is the value of Community Watch groups?
Well, you know, the Justice Department of the United States says everything. They have been rating for the last several years the #1 crime prevention program in the country is Community Watch.
Wow.
You know, with that being said, you know, one of the reasons why I think Huntsville is a different city than a lot of places as we grow is the mere fact that people don't realize we've had Community Watch for over 40 years in Huntsville. We were one of the first ones started in Alabama. We've grown it to such tremendous amount of volunteers, and we stay working with them. And the community, it's a pleasure going out here and seeing people say, thank you for what you do, how can I help you? And, you know, some officers don't see that, and Huntsville's special.
Yeah. You know, Ray, for those that are listening today, and I would hope that there are some people who've maybe, you know, perked up a little bit and said, you know, oh, this is something I'm interested in doing. Maybe there are people out there that are trying to find a way to get involved and more engaged in their community. How does the process work? Because I think there's probably perception about Community Watch, and I'm just going to give you one small example of a perception that I've even heard. Oh, isn't that the person that jumps in their car at night and just drives around, you know, for about 6 to 8 hours, patrolling the place, with a little sign in their car maybe and a walkie-talkie in their car? How does the process work?
You know, old school way was put the put the sign on your car, drive around the neighborhood. But you know, your day-to-day activities can be Community Watch. If you're driving out of your neighborhood to go to work and you look around, you see something suspicious, call it in. Sitting on your porch, having a cup of coffee while you're sitting outside. If you see somebody going through the neighborhood that looks different or you know they don't belong there, you're doing Community Watch. Walking your dog, you're doing Community Watch. Taking a walk in the afternoon just for exercise, you can do Community Watch. Even people that watch from their windows are doing Community Watch. It's not just putting a sign on your car and driving around the neighborhood anymore. It's just about everything you do. And sometimes those that are just sitting on their porch watching things see a lot more than somebody driving around the neighborhood. Because if you think about it, when you're driving, you also have to watch traffic, and you've got to make sure nobody's pulling out in front of you or some child's not running out in front of you. And during that time, you could miss somebody that's trying to break into a home. Whereas if you have a neighbor watching from the window as you go by and miss that neighbor watching from the window may be the one that sees it. It's a good deterrent to have the sign on your car because people know that there's somebody watching, so that's still a good way to do it. But there's so many other ways to do it.
And this is not about confrontation and engagement. This is not about seeing something and say, I'm going to stop the bad person. What do you say to people that are concerned about that element or ask that question about what are the limits of a Community Watch person, and then what do you suggest and recommend to that person who might see something?
We tell them the police get paid to do this. You need to stay out of it. We want you to stay safe. In fact, our rules clearly state, do not be confrontational. We ask that they don't carry any weapons while they're on patrol. I know a lot of people want to question that. You can carry all the weapons you want, just don't represent yourself as Community Watch when you do that. We don't want anything happening around here like it did in Florida. So we've had that rule in place, and when somebody goes against it, we let them know you can't be a part of Community Watch. It's very safe to do. You don't have to, we don't want you confronting anybody. Just call, you know, if it's an emergency, crime in process, 911. If it's a non-emergency, you're just suspicious of someone, 256-722-7100. But don't get yourself involved.
And that non-emergency number, I want you to say it again because that's really important. I know it's real easy to clog up the lines on the emergency side, for non-emergency issues, and the vast majority of calls are going to be non-emergency calls. So give them that number one more time, and this is a number that everybody should write down and have close to them.
Right, it's 256-722-7100.
Yeah.
And I keep that in my phone program, just hit the button whenever I need the police officers, so.
Well, they're going to come for you anyway because you're the community-wide president. So it's, all hands on deck when Ray comes.
Wow.
Johnny, you also have a Senior Crime Prevention Academy, and I know that that's a real gem of the community, law enforcement officers working along with the community side by side. And that's another important element and another demonstration, I think, of how law enforcement in this community is very proactive in terms of engaging the populace with regards to their responsibility for things and making them aware of certain kinds of things. That's really a great program.
Yes, you know, we have the Senior Academy. We also have the Citizen Academy. Currently, the Citizen Academy is taking an application. All they got to do is contact our academy and go ahead and get an application in and see if they can get in. Both of them are geared to over several weeks to show you different aspects, not only from the Huntsville Police Department, other city departments, and also through the county. So it's a great way to see their introduction. And along with that, we also have the Citizen Ride-Along program, which they can contact the precinct that they live in. And this way you get to actually ride with an officer and see in your real eyes what we do. You know, you get to ride with them and experience all that. And then one of the things that Community Watch helps us with, we also have a program called Why Police Do What They Do. And that's another program that if they will reach out to us, we'll set it up and let them experience how hard it is to make a split-second decision, which, you know, you went through that program and you experienced it firsthand. It's not as easy as what it looks.
No, you're absolutely right, and I encourage people. I'm glad you mentioned both of those things, the ride-along, which I've been able to do multiple times and want to continue to do that. Gives me another perspective on just the challenges that police face on a regular basis in the most simple experiences. You know, we kind of see a police stop and we take it for granted so often. We know very well, you know very well, much more than I do, how quickly that can go wrong. It also emphasizes to me the level of training that takes place in the academy and beyond the academy, and how well trained the officers are in Huntsville Police Department. And all of those things, I think, result in the outcome, which is regular, ongoing, daily, positive relationships that take place in that process. And that's important to have that. So National Night Out then becomes a kind of a celebration once a year of all of these great things that are happening in communities, celebrate the role of community watch, the role of law enforcement, and working together in the community to make it a better place. It is absolutely wonderful. So tell us again where National Night Out takes place, when it takes place, and what time it takes place.
National Night Out will be at the Huntsville J.C.'s building on Airport Road. That's 2180 Airport Road. It will be from 5 to 7 p.m., and that's next Tuesday, October 3rd.
All right, and we want as many people to come out as possible. You already mentioned the magic word is free food.
Yep.
So, and it's a family-friendly event. We want lots of people to know that, and they can come out and bring their families. And this is a great way, too, I think, because there are questions in our communities about different things. I always encourage people to get to know people, get to know your neighbor, you know, just knock on their door. You know, it's not good enough just to see people and wonder about things. When you build relationships, you have a much better outcome on the other side, whether that's your neighbor, law enforcement department, community watch groups, and any part of our community. Get to know people and get to understand what's happening with them. It's just a great place to be. Ray, thank you for being here today, and thank you for all the work that you do leading this tremendous network of individuals in our community who do such a great job every day. I know you're very proud of them.
I am. I really am. They're a good group.
Yes, and Johnny, thank you for all that you do too through the CRO program. I think, you know, just I got to say this real quick. People are always saying to me various things about law enforcement in our community, and I usually say, well, have you talked to your CRO? And a lot of times people say, my who? And so I do a lot of educating people and saying, you know, rather than feeling an emotional way about something or maybe being anxious about something or lacking understanding in something, reach out to somebody. Try to get an understanding with somebody. Talk to somebody. Get some answers and some education. That's why those CROs are there. They're doing a great job all over our city. I know you could use so many more, but we also understand how resources are limited and have to be allocated in different areas. But you guys do a great job, absolutely. And I think that in terms of community building blocks, that's one of the best things that we can have. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much, Kenny.
All right. We'll see you guys on National Night Out. I'm excited about it, and won't be long before it happens.
No.
All right. We hope that you'll come out, that I'll see you. That's what I was trying to say. I hope that I'll see you for National Night Out, and that you'll come on out and be a part of this great program that's going to take place on Tuesday, October the 3rd from 5 to 7 at the JC building located at 2180 Airport Road. It is absolutely free of charge for you to come out. You can bring the entire family. It's right around dinner time anyway, and there's free food. So you want to come on out, learn as much as you can, meet some good people in your community, find out how we can all make Huntsville a better place to live, and hopefully I'll see you along with Johnny and Ray on Tuesday night. For Impact, we hope that you like the show that you just saw and that you can also see a video of the show that you just watched on our Impact with Kenny Anderson Facebook page, where you can also see some behind-the-scenes shots of what happens once the camera stops rolling. For Impact, I'm Kenny Anderson. I hope you have a great day.